So it's on the characters and the zombie outbreak. Seizure of Power is the song. Look it up. When I was younger and making little movies and shit, remember, you know, like the horror movies, that was my go-to song for evil.
So we'll have to see if this one's any good. I don't have high hopes because typically when the director tells you he's turning Resident Evil into some artsy human story, I don't really care.
But I don't believe anybody anymore. After the Superman people on Xbox 360, Superman Returns said, you know what, we're gonna make a Superman game. We know that Superman has bad games, but I've read all the comics. I know Superman, and I was like, all right, we're gonna get it. And it came out, and it was garbage. And then Patty Jenkins said she understands Wonder Woman, and she came out and she did Wonder Woman 1984, which completely gets the character wrong. And so I don't trust anybody anymore when they say, I know exactly what I'm doing with this franchise.
No,
don't
you
worry.
don't.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah, unless you give us a proof. And the proof has to come in the trailer. So we'll wait for the trailer on that. I'm still waiting for a Mortal Kombat trailer. What the hell's going on? I mean, IGN released a cast list, right? And it has some people I like, but you know, I need to see a trailer, guys.
Yeah.
Wait, trailers.
Yeah, remember the Godzilla movie, you know.
Yeah, this looks cool.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. It's like
humans.
No, we put in a very human story that you would like. No one wants the human story.
There better not be a goddamn single human in Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah.
I want it to be just Godzilla.
No,
just King Kong. Hollywood does not have the balls to do that.
No.
But if they did, that would be the greatest film of all
I'd
time.
see it twice.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been talking about CD Projekt Red getting sued, right?
Yes.
So there was a class action suit. The investors were going to go after them. The people were like, well, is this going to be immediately thrown out? Is it going anywhere? We got official from CD Projekt. They are absolutely getting sued. So Rosen Law Firm.
Going to culinary school and working in kitchens, learning what it means to really be a chef and to be a cook is invaluable experience. I can't stress that enough. ICE has an award-winning culinary training program, which is only 6 to 12 months. It has launched more than 10,000 careers, just like mine.
I think that play was really good. Announced that they were filing a class action suit, and we actually got a response from CD Projekt. So they released a regulatory statement on December 25th confirming it was now facing a lawsuit from Rosenbaum. The developer said the complaint does not specify the quantity of damage sought, so we don't know about it, and states it will undertake a vigorous action to defend itself against any such claim. So they're going to have to defend themselves, and we'll have to see what they have actually. Hopefully they've got all that information. They did show investors say, look, we never said it was going to be good. We never said it was going to run well on PlayStation to the investors. And we'll have to see, like, who were they lying to the investors? Were they lying to us? Who was this?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Investors are making their money. They're making a lot of money right now. But at the same time, you can't encourage people to encourage misrepresentation. So, you gotta let that case play out.
Yeah, we do need to see. Have you seen the PlayStation 1 version of Cyberpunk?
Oh my God! Yes, this Joe, you need to see it. Put it up here. Put it up here. I'll play it through the thing because that was hilarious. And I was like, you know what? It's not too far off. Well, no, I'm just playing. No, but a nice representation of some of the bugs. And I don't know. Back then, that might be acceptable.
Alexa, weather.
But now.
Currently, in Canyon Country it's 51 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies. Tonight, you can expect mostly clear skies, with a low of 45 degrees. Have a good night.
That's a different kind of shame.
I'm not here to watch. I just saw you by chance.
What you saw was a man who paid his master for freedom, but it's been
You can do that?
My master gave me a price for it.
Yes, you're right.
That isn't right.
No big deal.
Really?
Like, yeah, there was. It's just
You
we
do
didn't have
that?
the power that we do now. And you're just holding people accountable. We're not asking for much. We're just asking
If you're waiting on help from the god,
No, please don't. Someone or something.
yes, my legs did.
Gods or not, I'm grateful. My master should be near the silver.
I'll talk to your master. Make sure he listens.
He's not really the listen.
He will be with
I
me.
believe that one day we will have even more progress on food boxes and the monetization tied to progression. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so that I think I hear a lot of people say that argument where it's like, oh, it was just a budget back in Skyrim and Fallout. But the other thing that they're not taking into consideration is Skyrim didn't have a bunch of gutted content that was promised to us, and Fallout New Vegas didn't have a lot of gutted content that was promised to us.
I'm not on the train of
You look strong.
gutted content.
I could always use
read
more.
a
I'm
lot of
already
articles
working.
like, okay, we're gonna have
I'm
all
here.
that.
As if
Okay,
I know their names.
Yeah, but just like there's not functional AI.
Give me a moment to explain.
That's close enough to begging for me. Fine. Speak.
There's a man who paid you for his freedom.
Well, so you have to look at it. So it's
Doesn't sound familiar.
What is it?
like
But
there's
you're a
something
member
bad
of
they
the
teleport.
If that's true,
You're smarter than they make you out to be.
tell me why I shouldn't just kill you.
You could. Of course, if I'm killed, the slave stays.
like Bishop and aliens.
I'll be on my way.
Kill the woman or not, it's your choice. But if you want your slave,
I think that all of the
one
problems
person's
got
freedom
magnified because it
is
wasn't just
another's
budget, there was a bunch of other
demise.
things all at the same time. The good news is we're getting free DLC coming early 2021. So CD Projekt has announced we're getting free DLC early this year. Now,
I'll take it, but I want to focus on
Cassandra!
fixing the damn
What
game.
chance
So
have we
with
should
no
meet
details
you?
were given, including specific release
Doesn't
dates
really
on what
feel
the
like
DLC
chance.
entail, the official Cyberpunk
Ah,
2077
so you wish...
No,
updated with
not
the
really.
Good, because I had another
I mean,
in
this
mind.
is an interesting thing because it's like the game. I haven't checked because I didn't
Attica
play it
is
this weekend on
large,
PlayStation 4,
yet
but it was not
fate.
functional the
Ah,
last time I
you're
played
trying
it
to
on
bring us
PlayStation.
back to
It's
fate
not that I
once
want to
again.
So how much did you overhear?
Oh, all of it. You have a difficult choice to make. Clearly.
part of the delay
How
on
much
my
is the
review
freedom of one person worth?
basically this,
Do-
it's like I want to play the finished version, but
There's no difference between one person and another. We all take our first breath the same way.
But are the breaths you take equal to my own? Would you not say the breath of Pericles is put to better use than that of someone in
I've been
prison?
playing pretty much everything else. I did finish it on PlayStation, but there's just not.
It
nothing
doesn't
that
matter
makes me
which
wanna
two
go back
people you
because it just
compare.
crashes so often.
The answer is the same.
So seeing them say they want to release
thief
4
is
free
equal to a
DLC coming
priest,
up, it's like, look,
politician
delay
to-
the DLC.
I
Get
think
everyone
I've
who's
said
working
enough.
on all of that to
Ah,
work on
you're
fixing
right.
the
I know
game
you are
so it's
busy.
not
That does
crashing.
sound like...
I'm
Go
curious
now.
what you guys
It's been
think
an
it is.
honor having
I
this
haven't-
conversation.
You
I
too,
haven't.
Suka.
I think it's probably. I would like to see. What would you like to see? Let's just pretend that the game came out perfectly, right?
What
All right,
is
I
it?
would love to
I'm
see
not going to
some
kill
more
someone.
Jackie.
Fine. I'll
I
find
would
someone
love to
else
see,
to
like,
kill him.
you know, at the beginning of the game, how you and him are like going on all sorts of missions, and it's just like it cuts to all those. I want to see some Jackie stuff. I love Jackie.
So we haven't got specific details, but what they've said is our planned expansions will take you even deeper into the world of Cyberpunk 2077, offering substantial story-driven content that'll give you tough choices to make narratives that you won't soon forget. So who knows? I would love to see that too. I mean, I think that there's the strength in this game so far has been some of the characters and the storytelling and the side missions. So if we get more of that, great. But fix the damn game first is my priority because I don't want to play the game. Like if they're like, hey, the free DLC's out, I was like, I don't care. Does it crash every 15 minutes? Because if it still does, I don't want to play the game. So, all right, well that's all we got for this episode. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? No.
I don't know if you guys know this little artist. His name is Kanye West.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
No, never. He's actually trying to make his game being published. We have doing with Reggie.
Oh.
They want to make a game. Kanye wants to make a game on Nintendo.
Yes.
Perfect fit.
And Reggie's like, all right, let's hear you out. And they had a meeting. He said he had potential, but no.
I'm a video game guy.
Reggie.
Reggie said, nah, I'm good, thank
Way
you.
back in the day.
But he's passionate about his project.
Oh.
And he hasn't made a game before. I think it was only one or something where you guide his mom to heaven.
Oh,
That was the game.
my God. That's not good considering
Alright,
what happened with his mom. Oh my gosh, that's weird. I tell you what,
I don't
another
know what.
another shitty thing is Kim Kardashian. Doesn't she have like the mobile game where you like dress her up and you buy a bunch of microtransactions and shit? That's probably what this game was about. It was probably filled with tons of microtransactions, and he thought, well, what about Nintendo, right? That's what kids play these days, Nintendo. He probably went over and Reggie's like, no, we don't. We're all right, bro. We don't need that shit.
He was very passionate.
So it doesn't matter how passionate he
He's
is.
gonna come. He's gonna talk. He's gonna be like,
Look,
like
real rap geniuses. Real
well,
rap
good on Reggie
geniuses.
for not being like getting starstruck or something. Like, ooh, the money side people. So I wonder what it was.
Kanye's down here, and Soulja Boy is up here. Soulja Boy is the real name in the rap video game hybrid market. And so Kanye's just not. Not as big.
Maybe they can work
Soulja
together.
Soldier Boy's bigger than Kanye
In video games.
Nice.
They went together.
He's
They
got
have a
some
console.
hype-ass Dragon Ball Z
Bam,
like
done.
There's been some good ones, right? Did you guys ever play the 50 Cent Blood and Sand? My buddy Charles and I played that very drunk. And it was a great time shouting.
It was a little better than we thought, but it wasn't a good game. Oh yeah, Def Jam.
With fists like these, I don't even got no heat.
Awesome. There's like a bunch of rappers who just beat each other up, dude. I love playing that game. We should totally do some retro games. Like,
No Man's Sky? Yeah, Sea of Thieves?
No,
and all
I'm
those other
talking
games that people
retro,
like, oh yes.
No!
I love retro games.
I'm talking about Gladius from LucasArts. I'm talking about
Fatal Frame.
Big 2K5. I'm talking about Hunter Reckoning, which I
Yes.
wanted to do. And Def Jam, where we beat each other up, maybe knocked out teams. Fight night, whatever.
I won't rest until your reign has ended.
Cool. All right, well, I think that's it. Thank y'all so much for watching. And like I said, support the show. If you want to go above and beyond the Call of Duty, hit that Patreon or YouTube join button. Links down below. We appreciate your support going into 2120. And remember, this is video one. 2021. Oh, I did it. I knew it. I didn't make it through the video.
Like, not again!
Didn't make it through the video. 2021, guys. Alright, guys. So, video one of two. Please watch our second video. See you next video.
Oh, yes.
Yüzüm ya.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the second video of this new year, 2021.
2021. 2021. Remember. Alright, guys. Man, I hope we have an amazing year, and we've had amazing years already, thanks to you guys. This week's sponsor is probably the most amazing. Truly the most amazing. It's you guys. You guys, thank y'all so much. Thank you to our mobile infantry who makes it all possible, gives us a backbone we can fall back on. Mobile infantry, if y'all don't know, are our Patreons, our YouTube join buttons, people that subscribe to our Twitch. Basically kind of giving us a little bit of that security just in case something gets too hot.
We get demonetized a couple times a year at least. Playing 7 seconds of a kazoo song.
It also helps us upgrade our equipment, as we've done several times, and we will continue to do. We got a lot of new content coming to you guys, some really exciting stuff in 2021. Me and Alex have been designing some board games behind the scenes. You can see a lot more board game content coming out, some cool ass things for you guys to pick up. And yeah, so it all goes to helping us do all of the different facets of being the Joe Show. So thank you so much. Consider supporting us on Patreon at those links down below. So, watch episode number 1 of news as well. This is episode number 2. And, you know, we had a little bit of a holiday, getting back from the holidays. So tomorrow we'll be starting the Cyberpunk 2077 Angry review, which we're really excited about. We got some parodies going for that. And then I'll have that out sometime maybe later this week. Going on into January for the top 10 lists, which are also coming as well.
Bottom
So,
10.
or the worst list. So, Alright, guys, let's get to some of the rest of the gaming news.
Alright, so we got a peek at Stalker this week.
Very cool.
And
Stalker.
so-
That game comes out buggy as hell, too.
Yeah, Stalker
The original.
in 2007 to 2009, there was a buggy game.
ass game.
And
But
so,
maybe it'll be good.
yeah, and so we got a look at what it is, just a little bit of a trailer to see what the engine can do. Looked pretty good. Did you guys take a look at it?
Yeah.
No,
No, yeah, it's lighting up there right now. It's like, wow, that looks pretty good. So it's something that 10 years ago, 14 years ago was really exciting, and I can't wait to see what this company comes out with next. This is supposed to be the sequel to the original trilogy, set in the Chernobyl exclusion zone.
I like hard games. You think it's hard as fuck if you let it be. Because, the way you approach things and things like that.
Head on. Stealth.
Yeah.
What is that?
Fight invisible enemies. I like to see.
So this has a long development history. So there was a dissolution of the original studio, it came back, and then development started again, and so now it's on its way out. So it had a bit of some rocky beginnings. So I'm curious to see if that you can actually tell when you like the game if they're going to go true and have it come out in 2007. Nothing or expected. No, it's
Part of the game.
But yeah, so that was exciting. The next story is I'm gonna call this no shit. Because the answer, I'm gonna read this to you. And you're like, well, no shit. All right. There was a 10-year-long study confirming there is no link between playing violent video games as early as 10 years old and aggressive behavior later in life.
Well, duh. Nothing stops me.
Yeah.
The world shall be mine.
No shit. Yeah. So this is a 10-year-long study published in the Journal of Cyberpsychology, Behavior, and Social Network on a group of early adolescents from as young as 10 years old. It investigated how playing violent video games at an early age affects behavior. And so they, things like Grand Theft Auto, playing the same game. They went through, and just like all of the other ones before, there is no.
There's no link.
Yeah, there's no.
You know what there is a link between though? Is getting angry, so angry when he wastes money on microtransactions and then rips to buy other consoles. And I'm not making a good case for angry.
Yeah, you were like that before video games.
I was like this. What? Okay. It's a part of his workout.
Fight. Good core workout. Trying to prevent being pulled over that way.
Receiving incoming transmission.
All of the things that made it made maybe it's that damn video games. It's just
We all know how politicians use it as a scapegoat. My parents use it as a scapegoat. Politicians use it as a scapegoat in order to not have to talk about or address
much bigger issues. And so this is another one that, the longer we talk about these studies being done, the more legitimate they go. So this was a 10-year-long study.
Yeah.
This wasn't something that was done over the course of a year or two to see if something. It's like, no, this was done. Started talking about it, but we need to continue to talk about it.
There's so much more research that shows that video games reduce aggression. In fact, improve motor skills, stimulate your brain. Lots of other. And now, of course, in moderation, you don't want to, if your kids are playing video games nonstop and they're ignoring your homework and all this other stuff. But yeah, they're going to be poorly in school and all this other stuff. But
you have to be a parent when you're a parent?
I know, right?
No! Blame the video games! Blame the video games!
Video games. That's the reason why my son hates that kind of stuff. There are other reasons. Video games. You can't just.
Alright, well.
Punch you in the throat!
You was like this before.
I was like this. That's why I had
Alright, we got good news from Steam, I guess, good news. Steam passes 25 million current users, which is insane, the number. So, big holiday weekend, the winter sales going on, still going on for the next couple of days. They hit the big 5. Yeah, and so it turns out so Epic has done nothing for the consumers, so consumers don't give a shit about that. Epic only does things for game management. Hey, we'll give you better stuff. Me as a consumer, like, well, yeah, I want to support these game developers, but you made a worse product. It is so much worse. There's also bugs that came out this week that the Epic Game Store will use a bunch of your system resources and overheat your PC. There was like a little bug before. It's like this kind of stuff can't happen if you want to compete. We know it's not working because Steam is at 25 million users. Over 1 million people were playing Counter-Strike. Dota 2 and PUBG were some of the other big ones. I mean, it's huge. Cyberpunk was still at over 200,000. Cyberpunk was at 200,000. Oh, no, ain't no one playing that. No.
I'm paying you $10.
Yeah, they were paying people $10 to play that. I think that deal is over.
Does they have a list of the most popular games?
Yeah, so the list of the most popular was, for this last weekend, was Counter-Strike Global Offensive, then Dota 2, PUBG, Cyberpunk, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Rainbow Six Siege. Stardew Valley came in close to the top of the list, and then Apex Legends was up there. And yeah, those are the ones that for this last week were at the top. We also had the Steam Awards this last week, and so this is for PC games only. Do you guys see what won Game of the Year for Steam?
Oh, what was it?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh!
So,
wait, what?
Because Valve does the years from November of the previous year to this November, the fans voted. The Red Dead squeezed in, and so Red Dead Redemption is Steam's Game of the Year for 2020, even though it came out in
It's a good game, but...
You know what's funny? I have expected The Last of Us 2 to be on that list, even though it's not even
not even on Steam.
All the journalists voted,
yeah.
and all of the developers voted.
Yeah, well,
Steam's Game of the Year, John.
Wait, how?
The good news is that can't happen because Valve listens to only the players and they don't listen to the game journalists. So the players voted for all of these things. And I can actually read to you what else we won. VR Game of the Year,
Alex.
Half-Life Alex. The award called Labor of Love was Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So I guess it's just like
yeah. Well, I guess what they're saying is like still going strong after all these years. So
exactly. Well, Better with Friends was Fall Guys. Not a whole lot of surprise there. The other ones nominated were Sea of Thieves, Borderlands 3, Deep Rock Galactic Restraint. I don't think Among Us qualifies. Again, Among Us came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, but then they qualified on the other.
Yeah, but the other one they made shit up, and it doesn't matter.
Time to hunt
Most
by
innovative
night.
gameplay was Death Stranding. Outstanding story-rich game was Red Dead Redemption 2. But Detroit Become Human, Modern Infinite Edition. Best games you suck
boxes
at.
on your back.
This is a game that is targeted to OJ. Best games you suck at was Apex Legends. Outstanding visual style was Ori Will the Wisp.
Yeah.
Sweet. Best soundtrack, I love this one, Eternal. So they finally got, they won an award for probably the best video game music because they got snubbed for showing it. Sims 4 won Best Back to Black game, and the game of the year was I never played The Sims. I played a lot of Sim City. You make a perfect city, and you're like, it's perfect now. Alright, so then we got the list of the final thing we got from Steam was the users' top games of 2020. All of the games, all 250 games that the users rated the highest of the year. And the top of the list are Hades, Factorio, and Phasmophobia. They're not super surprising there. It was a pretty good year for smaller games on Steam. Hades and Phasmophobia were definitely
Hopefully those companies get a huge cash.
Rounding out the list, top 10 in 4, we got Helltaker, Half-Life Alyx, the Henry Stickmin Collection, Risk of Rain 2, Deep Rock Galactic, Persona 4, and Satisfactory. So, it was a pretty good year for PC games. Alright, well that's all I got for the Steam Awards. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I found a list of top 10 Xbox.
Pretty bird.
It was mainly because I went down a rabbit hole because they said that Uplay was going to be coming to the Xbox Game Pass subscription, right? Just like EA Play did. I thought, maybe that sounds like it could be.
But they signed with Amazon.
Well, that's I don't know. So these are all probably bullshit. But if you just want to hear them,
I want to hear them. Let's see.
Xbox fans are like, man, we need something.
We need something because we don't have Halo, we don't have games, we don't have
And here's how you hype them up, and you don't actually release. This is underground, all right?
Made up stuff.
Made up stuff. Got it. In Exile Entertainment. In Exile Entertainment is currently working on a Steam AAA RPG. That game is going to be the second highest budget for Xbox game ever in development cycle.
Punk games are real hot. We got Cyberpunk, nothing went wrong there. Steampunk's gonna be great too.
That's an interesting one. Obsidian is developing 6 projects, including 3 AAA RPGs, having grown quite quickly depending on how lightly developed it, blah, blah, blah. Number 8, Xbox is securing publishing rights for a big unannounced AAA surprise that will be launching in 2021. Number 7, xCloud will be joining several new markets next year, including iOS and Samsung TV providers. Don't worry about it, Joe. We're LG here. I have nothing but LG. Okay, 6. Several additional titles are launching exclusively on Xbox ecosystem next year, with Forza 5, Starfield, and Wolfenstein 3. That merger with the Bethesda is going to result in exclusives for the Xbox ecosystem, which I guess could include PC, right? So Starfield and Wolfenstein.
I don't know.
So meaning Starfield and Wolfenstein 3 are coming to PS5.
Yeah, I really.
And then number 5 was the Uplay. Number 4 is Xbox will be dropping Xbox Live Gold and rolling it into the Game Pass service. Free to play games are not required. That's believable. I want that to happen. I think that needs to happen. I think that's the next evolution of the Xbox Live. Okay. And then number 3, and I still, you know what? I was going through all my stuff in the old place. I didn't bring it over, and I don't know why. If it's still there, I'll try to bring it. But I was an Xbox call center employee a long time ago. You remember that? I forgot what call center. I forgot what I was working at that call center a long time ago. I realized it was Xbox because I found that I got to keep one of the lights. You know, the little what do you call it? Neon lights. It's an Xbox Live. It has a little thing that you click on. And I had beta tested Xbox Live before I came out. All about that. Anyways, I do have bias. I was, yeah.
No, you're just a PlayStation fanboy.
I hated the PS3. This shit was a piece of shit. I didn't have a PS2, so I wasn't really making a comment on that one. I knew it was good. Anyways, number 3, all non-MMO Bethesda and ZeniMax titles will be exclusive starting in 2021. And number 2, Xbox will be swinging big again and will be acquiring Sega in 2021. We shall see. That's a huge one. Sonic? The Sonic. And then number 1, Xbox has already acquired 2 additional studios aside from Bethesda and ZeniMax, with one being large and the other being small. Alright, I don't know.
I'm bored on the internet. Let's start making up our own Xbox
World. That's a $10
Xbox gonna buy Sony.
To Xbox World.
The one I want to happen is Game Pass.
You know, I would love some of these, obviously, because I do think we have some objections. And I hope we do get
Where is it?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't give a shit about the Xbox itself. I think Microsoft is kind of doing its thing. Like, look, we want to be a game company. And if they're saying that it's PC, as long as it's like PC and Xbox only, then I don't necessarily care. But if by saying you can only play it on like any Bethesda games on the Xbox Series X, on the Xbox Series, so yeah, I don't know.
I just really see this Sega.
If it fits in with the other one, like what AAA experiences haven't been purchased by the major companies, and so Sonic could be.
They're just taking the bits and pieces that they've seen over 2020 and what they would like to do in 2021, and hoping they'll hit some of them. Because I do think they'll hit some of them just based on how big.
I mean, if you close your eyes and start throwing darts, one of them's going to land, and that's what a lot of these internet rumors do. So there's also some rumors talking about how 343 is making leaps and bounds as far as progress in the new Halo.
Oh,
and then they refuse to say anything of what they meant by leaps and bounds. Like, what do you?
So it's going to be made ready early? It's going to come out a little early?
No, we have no information about it.
No, we're just making really good progress.
Yeah, it's progress is good. It's like, okay, well,
but we were just on hold. validated.
He was supposed to come out months ago. What do you? What? No.
It's even better.
Okay,
Show me
it's
it.
gonna be fucking
No.
awesome, guys. Yeah, honestly, can't wait to play it. They're gonna announce a battle royale version of it as well. Battle royale hit. I guarantee. All right, I don't guarantee. I don't know. Probably though. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. It's gonna be interesting to see what's coming up in 2021. Can't wait to see what we come up with here at the Angry Joe Show on these future
More
games coming out.
shenanigans.
More shenanigans from the Joes and the Alexes, and we will see you on the next. There's multiple Alexes.
I eat for two.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Click those links down below if you want to support us. Take that extra step. Go above and beyond.
Thank you for all the
Keeping us
support, guys.
going on Patreon, YouTube join button, and yeah. Thank y'all guys so much, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.
We're seeing a broken man falling apart more and more acutely every single day. Donald Trump's presidency is now in its death throes, and Donald Trump himself has been increasingly unhinged, retweeting garbage right-wing media clips to his Twitter while being missing in action as President of the United States for months now. And over the weekend, he unleashed a tweet storm so unhinged, so outrageous. We are seeing a broken man falling apart more and more acutely every single day. Donald Trump's presidency is now in its death throes, and Donald Trump himself has been increasingly unhinged, retweeting garbage right-wing media clips to his Twitter while being missing in action as President of the United States for months now. And over the weekend, he unleashed a tweet storm so unhinged, so outrageous, that it's hard to imagine what he's going to do when the day finally comes that he is no longer President of the United States. This is really bad for the country, truly bad. And it's not just humiliating for Trump. It's humiliating for the country globally. They are a crime for us, yes, because of the COVID mishandling and the unnecessary death and suffering. They are scared for us, yes, because we have such anti-democratic forces coming out of the woodwork in the Republican Party. But they're also laughing at us because we have a president, technically anyway, for a few more days, who can't stop tweeting trash after trash that almost no world leader would ever be caught dead tweeting. Trump again ranting about so-called dead voters who don't exist. Tweeting, why haven't they done signature verification in Fulton County, Georgia? Why haven't they deducted all of the dead people who voted? Illegals who voted. Non-Georgia residents who voted. And tens of thousands of others who voted illegally from the final vote tally. These are all lies. Just a small portion of these votes give us a big and conclusive win in Georgia. Have they illegally destroyed ballots in Fulton County? After many weeks, we don't yet even have a judge to hear this large-scale voter fraud case. The only judge seems to be Stacey's sister, according to Stacey Abrams. Trump insisting he won in a landslide, saying about a Ted Cruz tweet that this is, quote, an attempt to steal a landslide win. Can't let it happen. Trump attacking Georgia Republican officials who are now the enemy because they won't overtly steal the election. Remember, for all the praise of Brad Raffensperger and those Georgia Republicans who are unwilling to do what Trump wants, they were very willing to try to steal the election via voter suppression. In fact, Georgia was sort of one of the central places of purging voter rolls and shutting down polling places. Like Georgia Republicans are very willing to do some terrible stuff. They just weren't willing to do it this way after the fact. And Trump is now attacking them, saying, quote, Republicans in Georgia must be careful of the political corruption in Fulton County, which is rampant. The governor, Brian Kemp, and his puppet Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan have done less than nothing. They are a disgrace to the great people of Georgia. And Donald Trump just continuing to tweet lies about Georgia, saying, quote, Georgia election data just revealed shows that over 17,000 votes illegally flipped from Trump to Biden. This alone, there are many other irregularities, is enough to easily swing Georgia to Trump, quoting OAN. None of that is true. There's no evidence for any of that. No court has found any of these arguments meritorious or with evidence. Trump then interrupting the election tweets to attack Dr. Anthony Fauci, saying, quote, somehow Dr. Fauci is revered by the mainstream media as such a great professional, having done, they say, such an incredible job. Yet he works for me and the Trump administration, and I am in no way given any credit for my work. Gee, could this just be more fake news? Of course, the theme is Trump continuing to be triggered by Dr. Fauci being more respected and trusted than Trump. And when Trump says, Fauci works for me, I should get the credit. Well, you've been advocating for the opposite of Fauci in many cases and attacking him publicly for months now. That's why you're not getting the accolades for being the person who allows Fauci to remain in your employ. And then Trump continuing to spread more lies about the virus, which have deadly consequences, saying, quote, the number of cases and deaths of the China virus is far exaggerated in the United States because of the CDC's ridiculous method of determination compared to other countries, many of whom report purposely, very inaccurately, and low. When in doubt, call it COVID. Fake news. Now that one is not only untrue, if anything, the number is understated. There's a new CDC report that says, okay, we have the official number, which is around 350,000 deaths from COVID, already a tragedy. But we suspect that the real number is more like 500,000 for reasons we've already discussed. So when Trump says the real death toll is lower, he implies it's less dangerous than it is, which encourages people to disregard guidelines which save lives. And then Donald Trump retweeting a tweet from lawyer Sidney Powell, who he supposedly doesn't have anything to do with, saying, quote, this election was stolen from the voters in a massive fraud that you and others are now complicit in. American elections are supposed to be completely auditable and transparent. We, the people, demand the truth and the prosecutions of all who committed voter fraud. And then Trump lastly tweeting that he will be there at a historic day on Wednesday, a march to stop the steal and not to certify the 2020 election. I won't keep going. This is just a sampling. This is not a well person, but he will be gone soon. The more important issue is that this is really bad for the country, and its negative effects are going to persist beyond January 20th, and we're going to have significantly more coverage about that coming up later this week, but also in later months. I want to take a second to tell you about one of our sponsors, S&H Masks. S&H Masks has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other important issue is that this is really bad for the country, and its negative effects are going to persist beyond January 20th, and we're going to have significantly more coverage about that coming up later this week, but also in later months. I want to take a second to tell you about one of our sponsors, S&H Masks. S&H Masks has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other protective gear for COVID-19, and they're giving my audience 20% off. S&H Masks is the company that I've personally been going.
Did you know that the average adult has 5 to 20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment? Seems crazy, right? All that poop just sitting there, rotting away inside their intestines and colon. Is it any wonder that colon disease is on the rise with all this waste just sitting inside your body? Most of this waste contains chemicals that your body rejected, but due to certain issues like constipation, you couldn't flush it all out effectively. So if you're feeling sluggish, bloated around the waist, or even just plain backed up, then give Zupu a try for 14 days. It will clean you out, guaranteed. Click through to read the hilarious reviews about how consistently effective Zupu truly is. It contains the perfect dosages of all natural ingredients that will get things moving and flush out that extra waste you're carrying around. You'll feel amazing when it's gone. As this toxic waste builds up, your body becomes a walking...
You voted in record numbers in November. Your voices are heard, your votes were counted. The will of the people prevailed. We won 3 times here. Each recount, you know what I mean? I think we should count it as 3 states. Won 3 times. I've said it before. Getting America vaccinated will be one of the most difficult operational challenges this nation has ever faced. But we've known it for the last months. This administration has gotten off to a god-awful start. The president spends more time whining and complaining than doing something about the problem. I don't know why he still wants the job. He doesn't want to do the work. Look, the states need help. Georgia, there's no one in America with more power to make that happen than you, the citizens of Atlanta, the citizens of Georgia. And that's not an exaggeration. That's literally true. If you send John and the Reverend to Washington, those $2,000 checks will go out the door, restoring hope and decency and honor for so many people who are struggling right now. And if you send Senators Perdue and Loeffler back to Washington, those checks will never get there. It's just that simple. The power is literally in your hands. By electing John and the Reverend, you can break the grip that has gripped Washington and this nation. With their votes in the Senate, we'll be able to make the progress we need to make on jobs, on health care, on justice, on the environment, and so many important things. By electing John and the Reverend, you'll be voting to get the states the resources they need to get the vaccines distributed. When you vote for John and Raphael, you'll be sending 2 senators who will fight for you, who put Georgia first, who put you first. You don't have that now. You have 2 senators who think it's more important to reward wealth than hard work in the tax system. You have 2 senators now who think they don't work for you, they work for Trump.
You gotta imagine that at some point, Trump has to realize that continuing to try and pull these desperate election theft antics is only making him look more pathetic than if he just accepted the results from the start. Because now you have Joe Biden quite literally laughing at him in front of crowds of people for his insistence on losing elections 3 times over. So I guess it turns out that Trump did get tired of winning. Biden even calls Trump out for doing what he's done relentlessly over the last 4 years, and that is whining and complaining. The irony being that Trump's whole persona that he's tried to cultivate for himself is that he's some type of a strongman. And yet I've seen 7-year-olds that complain less than him. His entire Twitter feed reads like every customer service email to Spirit Airlines. And this is the GOP's tough guy? The fact is that Trump's complaints are nothing new. Just with regard to this quote-unquote rigged election, remember that Trump's cried foul in every election that he's ever been in. Before even securing the Republican nomination in 2016, he claimed the Iowa caucus was rigged and attacked Ted Cruz, tweeting, "Based on the fraud committed by Senator Ted Cruz during the Iowa caucus, either a new election should take place or Cruz results nullified." Prior to the 2016 general election, he tweeted, "The election is absolutely being rigged by the dishonest and distorted media pushing crooked Hillary, but also at many polling places. Sad." Even after he won the election, he still claimed it was rigged, tweeting, "In addition to winning the Electoral College in a landslide, I won the popular vote if you deduct the millions of people who voted illegally." And that was for an election he won. So let's not pretend that this is anything other than Trump's inability to accept the fact that he's a loser. And now he continues to cry fraud, even though his campaign and its allies are 1 for 61 in the courts, where they failed to prove even a single instance of fraud. The DOJ has said there's no fraud. The DHS has said there's no fraud. Republican governors and secretaries of state have said there's no fraud. The vast majority of Americans know there's no fraud. All this is a disinformation campaign. It is Donald Trump knowingly and willfully lying to his supporters because he's too petty and small to admit that he lost. And so instead, he'd rather burn down the whole system because democracy be damned so long. He can protect himself. And while we're on the subject of Republicans hurting Americans, Biden goes on to slam Perdue and Loeffler, the Republican senators from Georgia, for blocking relief during this pandemic that the Republican Party itself exacerbated in its desperation to kowtow to Trump. I mean, think about that. Not only did Republicans allow this virus to explode throughout the country in deference to Trump's insistence that it was no big deal, but now they're the ones standing in the way of relief to Americans who are suffering as a result. And so the message here is as clear and simple as it gets. If Georgians elect Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, the first order of business will be $2,000 checks. Checks that are so desperately needed as people struggle to pay their rent and put food on the table and keep the heat on. And that's to say nothing of what else we'll get. Namely, a $15 minimum wage, federally decriminalized marijuana, expanding health care, voting rights protections, women's reproductive rights protections, and bold climate change action. All of it is imminently possible if Georgians show up and vote. So the choice is clear. We'll either reward a party that is fundamentally opposed to democracy and that spends our tax dollars waging disinformation campaigns aimed at destroying the foundations of this country, or we can elect 2 Democrats who will ensure that the duly elected president can enact his agenda and actually offer some relief to the people of this country who so desperately need it. So we owe it to ourselves to vote. While you're here, please check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. I take a deep dive into the top stories of the week, and I also interview major players in the world of politics, like Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Pete Buttigieg, Katie Porter, Al Franken, Cory Booker, Jamie Harrison, Mary Trump, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
In all of the world.
So before I get into this video, I just want to give a very clear disclaimer that I will be covering very heavy spoiler territories. It will be covering beyond Season 3 of The Enemy, and it will also be covering the latest Japanese light novels. So again, not just the English light novels, but also the Japanese light novels that the English and the West have not currently gotten. So if you don't want spoilers of what is beyond the current English releases of the light novels, and of course the anime itself, I would suggest looking away from the video. So you have been warned that I will be covering Japanese light novel spoilers. So one of the interesting topics I've been kind of thinking through in my head is that this whole situation of Hestia versus Freya. So if you don't know from volume 16 of the light novels, which again is the Japanese release, Freya has basically made her declaration to Otter that she's basically done playing games. She's going to take Belle by force, because of course she is very much infatuated and in love with him. And so she's made that decision that she is going to do something about it, which obviously is going to lead to some major conflict, whether it's an all-outright war, or if it's more of a covert operation, or some form of manipulation. It could be either or either, but I could definitely see a full outright war. And that is why I've kind of titled it the way I have, which is again Freya versus Hestia. How is that going to play out? Because again, we're being completely honest, Hestia has an extreme big disadvantage against Freya. Freya has a larger number of familiar members. She has higher leveled familiar members, and I mean, of all people she has in her familiar group is Otter, and Otter is a beast of all beasts. He is just someone that, again, Belle is nowhere near the level of getting up to yet. Even Eyes is not up to that standard yet. So unless Belle can massively leapfrog a bunch of levels, it's going to be extremely difficult. But there is one way that Freya could be defeated by Hestia, and that is if Hestia and Loki end up working together as familiar members, coming together to fight against a common foe. And again, of course, those that have read the light novels and watched the anime, Loki and Hestia don't get along. It's obvious. But at the same time, I don't see them as like arch enemies. I don't see them ever trying to maliciously attack each other. Of course, they've had their differences. Again, you know, with Finn doing certain things to kind of investigate into the Xenos, Eyes and Belle having their squabble. But at the end of the day, it's only ever been very small skirmishes, only little squabbles, and at the end of the day, they end up wiping their hands.
I don't ask questions. I just follow
orders. And we'll move on. They're not holding on to grudges, which is understandable. Again, depends on how you want to look at it. I just see it as, again, they have their squabbles, they have their difference in opinions, but they're not going to hold on to these grudges for all eternity. And again, if you've also watched some parts of the anime, and particularly in the light novels, Loki has given very stern warnings to Hestia about Freya, particularly when Freya's showing a lot more interest publicly about Belle, particularly to do with the actual war games itself. When Apollo wanted to snag Belle away from Hestia, Freya kind of stuck her fingers into that situation, and which, again, rose alarm bells for Loki itself. But also there was a meeting that happened very early on in the story, which was where, again, Freya confronted Loki and was asking Loki for help to try and snag a certain boy away from someone else. So, again, Loki knows that Freya has her eyes on Belle. But I think, again, Hestia is a little bit oblivious. I think she's slowly cluing on with some of the warnings and everything, but I don't think Hestia is fully clued on to everything ongoing. I mean, again, she's kind of got her hands full with other situations, especially when you had the Xenos, Ishtar, Apollo. You had all those big things going on, so Hestia's mind was otherwise occupied. And at the same time, Loki was dealing with other things as well, but she has her familiar members like Finn to manage a lot of those situations. So Loki's able to kind of keep a cool head and be like, okay, all these little things are ongoing. At the end of the day, the way I see things is that Freya is obviously going to do something. She's going to make a push in one of the newer volumes, and something big is going to transpire. Whether it's secret or silence, or if it's done in a full outright scale war. It will be interesting if it is done in a full outright scale war, because Freya isn't in the best books when it comes to the guild after what she did with Ishtar, so she's still following the repercussions from that. So I don't think she really wants to get the full wrath of the guild and other familiar members and other goddesses and gods going after her. That also being said, it's not out of the realms of possibility that she couldn't just outright declare war and do a war games much like how Apollo did. There's many different approaches that the story could go in, but I do think at some point there is going to be a major conflict between Hestia and Freya.
The soap has done so much for me. Her skin is incredibly clean. I don't know why I was putting so many chemicals on my skin. I stopped using deodorant, so incredibly
There's no harm in it. They're made from fine natural oils. Look at this. It's great.
It exfoliates the skin
How that turns out is going to be the
You
interesting
won't be
debate.
making
But I
trouble.
think, in my opinion, how I see things playing out is that Loki and Hestia are going to have to shake hands at some point. And they're going to have to say, okay, let's put our silly squabbles aside, paint each other out about our chest regions, and work together, because this is a beast that we cannot defeat alone. And so I think, again, you're going to have a Bell and an Eyes working together to possibly fight Otter. And that's where there's going to be more training. But this is where, again, more spoilers are coming in. There is a deal that Freya has with Eyes. Eyes, in the Sword Princess story, asks Freya for a favor to be able to train, to keep, moving forward, because Eyes wants to be able to keep growing at the same pace as Eyes is. At the end of the day, Belle, in a sense, is ahead of Eyes in the sense of growth as a whole. But yes, Eyes is much stronger. She's got much more levels, but Belle is growing at a faster rate. And that is what Eyes is seeing. She wants to grow faster. The rate at which she's growing, she feels, is not adequate enough to what Belle is. Again, it's not the total levels that matters. It's the fact that Belle is catching her. His speed is faster than her speed currently, so she wants to pick up the momentum. So she's now going to Otter for training, which happened in the side stories for Sword Princess. That's why it's important sometimes to read the side stories. So Freya has a bit of a upper hand, a bit of a ace under her sleeve that she can pull out and say, hey, you owe me a favor. And that is something that she could end up pulling up on her and saying, no, you've got to stay out of this conflict. You're not allowed to fight on his behalf. You're not allowed to train him. You've just got to stay out of it. And that's something that could happen. It depends on how that plays out. But I could also see other players, like a certain elf that works at a bar, ending up standing up against Freya and going, no, you're not doing this, even though technically they're best friends. As I mentioned in my Freya video, where I talked about some particular spoilers of a certain bar girl actually being Freya in disguise, and there being, some double body swaps. That is something that I think a lot of us have known for a while, just based on fan theories and kind of looking at certain history books when it comes to certain gods and goddesses, how they're portrayed in history books. At some point, I think there's going to be a major conflict, and many sides are going to be picked. And I think we're going to have to see some teamwork put together to go up against Freya. Because again, as I mentioned, Freya is not weak. And Freya has recruited some new members because of the whole incident with Ishtar, but at the same time, a lot of Ishtar members went elsewhere and all scattered. But Freya did snag some extra members. So Freya is very strong, and it's not to say that she couldn't just recruit even more. She's got the ability to do so. So I think at the end of the day, something is going to transpire. And I think Hestia and Loki are going to have to work together in some way, shape, or form. Whether they like it or not, they're going to have to. Because Otter, Freya, that's a beast that you cannot defeat alone. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below.
Ah, you hear them too?
There is something there. And whatever is making that noise must be 2 or 3 times the size of a man.
Quickly, use a disc. Open the door. They're expecting us.
Whatever is inside, I'm ready.
My brothers and sisters! Eternity! The house of the gods! Creators of the universe! Outstretch your mighty hands and raise me to the heavens!
Is it just me, or are these Malaikis getting bigger? He does not look happy. Let's see if I can cheer him up. handsomest one in the family. Bigger they are, the more I have to stop them.
I helped you order UD. This is standard. Oh, that's a good.
be spotted here.
The mystics dared in my name is for them. I am the one who will end life.
Blood or change? Finicus must choose.
This artist's work is everywhere. Their dislike is as clear as water.
The work of a coward. If they meant it, you'd have a sword to your throat.
You saw that crowd. Words are powerful.
This rebel obviously wants attention.
I had a similar thought. And I think...
Tell me where they are and I'll...
See the pigment of the paint. It's a rare color.
I'll stop them.
We cannot answer that.
That's what you want.
It is what she wants. Finicus wants to fight for the...
If you can...
Share to you.
Let me know if you need anything else.
There's some hair stuck in the paint. Maybe from the brush the artist used? I'd better ask Angelus. This came from whatever wrote this message. I'll take it to the art merchant. I have some things to ask you.
Go on. It's the slow season.
Thank you. Eros.
Maybe you'll buy some.
This color looks strange. I should ask the art merchant where the artist could have got it. I have some things to ask you.
Go on. It's the slow season.
I found these rock fragments near...
That, my friend...
Emery.
It's mine for me, Rots.
This pigment is only used in the... Just him?
Yeah.
I found this hair.
Many artists here on...
What animal is this?
It's too long to be a deer.
Thank you.
Maybe you'll buy.
There's that artist. Found you. There you are. I've been looking for you.
Who's I?
Finicus sent me. To find and stop the...
You're here to kill me.
That?
Please, Mistios. Finicus is a great leader. Tell her I said that. And just a hand, not a mind.
Tell me why you did it.
I was commissioned. A contract from soldiers. They have power.
I would. I'm...
Mistios, I'm a poor artist. The Archon promised Rach me I've never dreamed of. I'll stop now, I promise. Not another word.
If you don't, you'll make an easy kill.
No more graffiti, I promise. Here, my contract. See for yourself.
We're finished here.
You won't hear from me again.
finally going to get a break.
Where'd you hear that?
Hey, you! Move!
I won't be intimidated. Stock the barracks and double the patrols. If Paros is sending them, I want to know the moment they make landfall.
Yes, Archon.
But Archon, please, the merchants have...
I understand your concerns. But protecting the town and the quarries is what's most important. You may all go. The meeting is over. When I closed my eyes, I could still see you falling. I thought I had lost you. Alexios is alive. They have him, don't they? I rebuilt my life from ashes. Do you understand? Now you tell me you're alive. You're both alive. It's really you. It's not some trick of the gods. No, I found you. Your brother. We have to get him back. He's too far gone. I gave up on you both once. Never again.
What
How did you...
I have a lot of questions.
I think we both do. But ask. I'll answer what I can.
I want to know about my real father.
How did you know?
I was told.
Nikolaos. You saw him.
In Megaris, yes.
Nikolaos was your father. He was the man who raised you. Until he took his Spartan duty too far.
He mentioned another. What can you tell me about him?
I always hoped you would never need to discover the truth. But there are things you need to know if we are to stop the cult.
What do you mean?
He sought me out before I knew your Nikolaos. I've not heard from him in a long time. What's wrong?
Soldiers from Paros just made landfall in the cove. A small force, maybe a dozen.
Malaka. Timo, gather the troops. Questions will have to wait, Lamb.
I want to help.
I assume you can use those weapons?
Better than when you last saw me.
Good. Come.
Who is attacking?
Paros, across the bay. It seems Silanos has finally grown tired of sharing the marble trade.
Why now?
We've always had problems with Paros. I expected an attack. Just not so soon.
I guess the time for talking is over.
Allies often forget their allegiances when
Life is simple. You die. It's burning!
Ella. Why are you working with Sparta, given all that's happened?
Paros made an alliance with the Athenians, so they left me little choice.
You needed support.
A rivalry with Paros is one thing, but they turned it into a war. Their partnership with Athens was too much to weather for Naxos alone.
Alright, mother.
Death is coming for you! Put it out!
There's always been a rivalry between the islands. After all, Naxos used to control Paros and Andros. They're envious of our craftsmen, too.
And now?
They think they deserve expansion. Their oligarch demands their wings spread wide. But we'll clip their wings before that happens.
They don't know who they're up against.
You remind me of Nikolaos. You fight just like him. Ruthless and cunning. He would be proud.
I've never forgotten what you both taught me. I had a good education.
I wanted you to be unstoppable. And you are.
What happened to you in Argolis after that night?
I found your brother and rushed to a young doctor's apprentice, Hippocrates. I thought I'd lost you. I wasn't ready to lose you both.
I spoke with him recently. That night still haunts him.
I was heartbroken when the healers in Asclepios told me Alexios was dead. The two of you were my whole world.
But he did live. They lied to you.
They must have realized he was special and handed him over to the cult.
We'll save him from the cult, Mother. We'll get him back.
The cult is insidious. Once they have their claws in, they don't let go. I fear he is beyond saving.
I found you, didn't I? I know we can save him. Together. I don't understand why the cult targeted our family.
There are many reasons, Lamb.
What did we ever do to them?
Now that we're reunited, it's more a question of what we could do to them.
They fear us.
Your ancestors have been a thorn in their side for generations. They've decided we need to be eliminated to ensure their plans come to fruition.
If it's our family they fear, we'll reunite and give them a reason to be afraid.
Many have tried to stop them and failed.
We are not those people. Where others failed, we will succeed. I know you left Sparta, but how did you end up on this island?
I couldn't stand by Nikolaos after what he did. I had to get out of Sparta.
So why here?
I saw an opportunity to help people, to grow something. I was elected to rule and protect this island from those who would ruin what we've built.
You've done some incredible things. Naxos is lucky to have you as its leader.
It's not been without its difficulties, but I'm proud of what we've achieved.
It's a pity there aren't more leaders like you. Let's continue this discussion somewhere the smell of death doesn't linger.
Ride with me.
Come on. The island is beautiful.
Malaka! Someone help me! Help me put it down!
Sparta has nothing on Naxian beaches.
Sparta. All I remember is the bottom of Mount Taygetos.
When I brought you to the Pythia as a baby, she never said we would live a nightmare. She said you had such promise.
The Pythia can't predict everything. Your general acted quickly, raising the alarm.
Timo knows Paris is a threat. They make their business clear.
They can't be more clear than sending soldiers. There's no treaty?
Maybe there was, but it's long over. Now there's no mistaking them for anything but
An enemy I could help you defeat.
We'll discuss that later. But I think you're right. Paros must be stopped. The temple's coming along, Evandros.
It will stay in ruins if we don't secure more donations. Soldiers can't get all the funds.
They can if you don't want the temple destroyed by our enemy. But I'll see what I can do.
It's a good deed restarting construction. Liglamis was a great man who deserves reverence.
His battles against corruption and oligarchy are lessons we all should remember. I do intend to finish the temple.
Thank you, Phoenix.
What a strange day it has been.
But a good one.
I've certainly had worse.
Me too.
You have grown into a remarkable woman, but I see the burden you carry on your shoulders.
Finding you has lessened it, I think.
I'm glad, but I have wondered why the gods chose to reunite us now.
I think they felt it was about time our family found each other again.
If we want to be truly united, we have to find Alexios and rescue him from the cult's grasp.
They are the source of all our pain, and they will cause more to many others unless we act.
I put that life behind me the moment I left Sparta. I have Naxos to worry about now.
Let me help you here. We can safeguard Naxos, and then hunt down the cult together.
Myrrine, the symposium is about to start.
By the gods. I'm sorry, my sweet. I forgot. Prepare the horses. I'll be out shortly.
The symposium?
I need to show the people their leader is strong and in control. Sometimes the face we show to the world needs to be one of strength, despite the chaos we harbor beneath. I will help you stop the cult. But before I can leave Naxos, I have to ensure it will survive without me.
What do you need?
Paros has to be dealt with. We need to weaken their position. Once they're vulnerable, they will make a reckless decision and we will strike.
What did you have in mind?
We must force the Paros fleet to engage us and destroy it. But my Admiral, Aeneas, is me.
Don't worry.
If you need me, I'll be at the symposium. Although, try to look less intimidating should you choose to pay me a visit.
You're the only survivor?
They took prisoners.
What happened?
We came to talk peace with...
What of your captain, Aeneas?
Took him.
I'll get him.
Make them...
There's Aeneas. He's in bad shape. I'll keep a sharp watch here.
That was what was that?
You're a hard man to kill.
I know she was glad to me. Quickly, let's get out of here.
No, no!
Stop railing!
Damn it!
Stop running! You hear?
Malaka. Rini won't be happy about this.
We've got trouble!
Malakas! Someone This temple is for the god of wine, Dionysus. Bet Marcos would like it here.
Did you not hear what I said? These are their most skilled killers. You cannot stay in the public eye. They'll find you.
I understand you perfectly. But I also need to be seen. The propagandist did his job well. I need more support to attack Paros.
I've seen too many people die already. Please, come away from here.
Spacia, what brings you here?
Cassandra, read the room, my dear.
I'm interrupting. Please, continue your discussion. It sounds fascinating.
I've just come to tell your mother that the cult's elite forces are after her, and that this place is too open.
And I've been telling Aspasia I need to appear in public to maintain the support of the citizens.
You want me to handle the cult soldiers?
Not only that. My people won't believe Paros is behind this without proof. I need you to find it.
Of course.
Good. And I'll make the rounds here. Shore up my support. Be careful. They're dangerous.
I know. I'll get her out of here safely.
Of course. I'd be happy to help you both. I'll see you again later. Cave entrance. They're in there. Better stay hidden. seal of Paros. And the letter? It's some kind of code. They say Zeus grew up in these caves. Be careful not to get spotted. The cult soldiers were paid with Rachmi from Paros.
Well, I could hardly ask for clearer proof. This will settle some scores. Take this to the Merchants Guild. Tell them it's the proof I promised. And tell them they can keep the coins.
Of course.
There was also this. I assume it's their orders.
I recognize this. It's an old dialect. The cult must use it to communicate with one another.
You can read it?
This money isn't from Silanos. It's from someone in Sparta.
That's not possible.
I can translate it for you, but these orders come from a Spartan king.
The Spartan nobility has always resisted the cult.
The cult is like water. Any crack in the stone and they'll get in.
Sparta stands against corruption.
How can you say that after all Sparta has done to you? They tore apart our family. They welcomed the cult with open arms.
Why do you keep saying they? I am still Spartan. And so are you.
Are you really?
I have responsibilities here. Paros needs to be stopped. But then, yes, I will go back.
We will destroy your statues. We will burn down your temples, if that's what it takes to rid the world of rodents like you.
You may speak.
Ships from Paros have blockaded the harbor.
God curse Silanos and his damned cult! Do they never tire of meddling? Ugh!
Tell them I'm on my way. A blockade?
I've refused to pay tribute to Athens, and Paros is taking advantage of the situation. There goes our hope of striking first.
I can bring my ship around and clear...
Just you against an entire block...
You're right.
Be safe, and come back to me,
Don't come any closer!
I should stay hidden if I don't want to fight.
Much to do, and many unknowns.
Ready for sail!
Eyes ahead! What happened on Naxos? Did you find your mother?
I found her, Varna.
Wonderful!
Ready for battle! Shoot when ready!
Don't let them find us!
More speed! We're moving now!
fine. So, with that being said, with just what we have, and, you know, with just what we have, we're giving you minimal numbers. We're doing the most conservative numbers possible. We're
The harbor is clear. We need to move out before they send reinforcements.
We're almost ready. We don't really have to mark. I don't think we have to go loading now.
They'll be ready on your command.
Because what's the difference between winning the election by two votes and winning it by 500,000 votes? I think we probably did win it by 500,000. You know, one of the things that happened, Brad, is we have other people coming in now from Alabama and from South Carolina and from other states. And they're saying it's impossible for you to have lost Georgia. We won, you know, in Alabama we set a record, got the highest vote ever. In Georgia we set a record with a massive amount of votes. And
Is something wrong? Besides the attacks on my island and the God's
I can tell you by our rallies. I can tell you by the rally I'm having on Monday night. The place, they already have lines of people standing out front waiting. It's just not possible to have lost Georgia.
The cult must be stopped.
When I heard
When we
it was
return to
close, I
Laconia,
said there's
it will
no
be
way.
dangerous.
But they dropped
I'm
a lot
used
of
to it.
votes in there late
We
at
both
night.
are.
You know that, Brad. And that's what we are working
Here I
on
know
very,
who I can
very
and cannot trust.
stringently. But
I would have said that about Sparta too, but this newly
Does Pasir find out which of the kings is working with the cult?
For all we know, it's both. We must cleanse Sparta of
And
its
we have
corrupt.
many more votes already calculated and certified to.
Once
So
Paris is dealt with, we will get to work.
Mark, I don't know what's
You're
the
right.
purpose.
Come see me when you're ready.
I won't give Dominion a pass because we found too
Are
many
you ready
bad
to
things,
sail?
but we don't need Dominion or anything else. We have
I'm
we
ready
have won
with
this
your
election in Georgia based on all of this. And there's nothing wrong with
strike a blow to
saying
the
that,
cult.
Brad. You know, I mean, having a correct. The people of Georgia are angry, and these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. You know, that you recalculated because the 2,236 and absentee ballots. I mean, they're all exact numbers that were done by accounting firms, law firms, etc. And even if you cut them in half, cut them in half, and cut them in half again, it's more votes than we need.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have as well. We talked to the congressmen, and they were surprised, but they, I guess there's a person named Mr. Raynard that came to these meetings and presented data, and he said that there were dead people, I believe it was upward of 5,000. The actual number were two people that were dead that voted. And so that's what that was two.
Well, Cleta, how do you respond to that? I mean, you tell me.
Well, I was saying to the Secretary, one of the things that we did request, and what we said was, if you look at this, if you read our petition, it says that we took the name and birth years, and, you know, we had certain information available to us. We have asked from your office for records that only you have. And so, as we said, there's a universe of people who have taken in the same birth year and died. But we don't have the record that you have. And one of the things that we have been suggesting, formally and informally, for is to try, is for you to make available to us the records that would be necessary.
But Cleta, even before you do that, and not even including that, that's why I hardly even included that number, although in one state we have a tremendous amount of dead people, so I don't know. I'm sure we do in Georgia too. I'm sure we do in Georgia too. But, is that we're so far ahead. We're so far ahead of these numbers. Even the phony ballots of Ruby Freeman, known scammer. You know the internet? You know what was trending on the internet? Where's Ruby? Because they thought she'd be in jail. Where's Ruby? It's
Get in position to sail!
Ready when you are, number is 18,000 for Ruby.
but they think it's probably about 56,000. But the minimum number is 18,000 on the Ruby Freeman night, where she ran back in there when everybody was gone and stuff. She stuffed the ballot box. Let's face it, Brad. I mean,
let's move
they
it!
did it in slow motion replay, magnified, right? She stuffed the ballot box. They were stuffed like nobody's ever seen it stuffed before.
Now this
And then the dirt floor went at the machine and stuffed the ballot. She stuffed the machine. She stuffed the ballot. Each ballot went 3 times. They were showing. Here's ballot number 1. Here's the second ballot, third ballot, next ballot. We have a new date that we're going to release. It's devastating. And by the way, that one event is not really that we're talking about. You know, but it was so and again, we have a version that you haven't seen, but it's magnified. It's magnified, and you can see everything. And she put, for some reason, they put it in 3 times each ballot, and I don't know why, but you know why. I don't know why 3 times. Why not 5 times, right? But, yeah, go ahead.
You're talking about state farm video.
Archers! We need you! Release! We've reached full speed!
Where were the bull watchers? No security there. It was late in the evening, early in the morning. And there was somebody else. Where were the bull watchers? And why did they say a water main broke? Which they did, and which is reported in the newspaper. And then they left. They ran out because of a water main break, but there was no water main. There was nothing. There was no break. There was no water main break. If you take out everything, where were the Republican home watchers? Even where were the Democrat home watchers? Because it was us. And then you say, well, they left their station. You know, if you look at the text, this was reviewed by professional police and detectives. When they left in a rush, everybody left in a rush because of the water bill. Everybody left in a rush. These people left their station. When they came back, they didn't go to their station. They went to the apron, wrapped around a table under which were thousands and thousands of ballots in a box that was not an official or a sealed box. And then they took those and they went back to a different station. So if they would have come back, they would have walked to their station and they would have continued to work. But they couldn't do even that because that's illegal because they had no bull watchers. And remember, her reputation is Devin. She's known all over the internet. She's known all over it. I'm telling you, where's Ruby? Was one of the hot items on the Ruby. They knew her. Where's Ruby? Really, you know, there can be no justification. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But that was, and why did they put the votes in 3 times? You know, they put them in 3 times.
Speed up!
Watch out! They're trying to hit us!
Archers!
Where was everybody else at late time? Where was everybody else? Where were the people that were there just a little while before when everyone ran out of the room? How come we had no security there? Why did they run to the bottom of the table? Why did they run there and just open the door and rip out the votes?
Must be stopped.
And they were sitting there, I think for 5 hours or something like that, the votes. But they just all happened to run back and go, you know, Brad.
Yeah, Mr. President, we'll send you the link from WFD.
I don't care about a link. I don't need it. I have a much, Brad, I have a much better link.
I'm telling you, I've seen the thing, the full thing. Tell us, Alan. We watched it. And what we saw and what we confirmed in the timing is that
70,000 ballots, but they used each one 3 times.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know.
Well, I do, because we had ours magnified out. So each one magnified out.
I've watched the entire.
Okay, great. But nobody can make a case for that, Brett. Nobody. I mean, look, you'd have to be a child to think anything other than that. Just a child. I mean, you never attorney
How many
there.
ballots? How many ballots?
We had our, this is Ryan Burnley, we had our law enforcement officers talk to everyone. It was there after that and they came to light. The GBI was with them as well as FBI agents.
Well, there's no way they could find. Then they're incompetent. They're either dishonest or incompetent. Okay, there's only 2 answers: dishonesty or incompetent. No way. Look, there's no way because of the coattails, and they said there's no way forward. Pretty good, but this is never given. We have some incredible talents. Said they've never seen anything. Now the problem is they need more time for the big numbers, but they are very substantial numbers. And I think you're going to find that they, by the way, a little information. I think you're going to find that they are shredding ballots because they have to get rid of the ballots. Because the ballots are unsigned. The ballots are corrupt, and they're brand new, and they don't have seals. And there's a whole thing with the ballots, but the ballots are corrupt, and you're going to find that they are, and which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyers. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can. Both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen. And
Naxos
you are letting it happen.
seems to
We have done great things together,
but now we must look beyond these shores.
All I want
They
to
are
do is
everywhere.
this. I just want to find.
We cut the heads off the beast one at a time until Sparta. Sparta?
Votes, which is one more than we
I
have.
still have influence there,
Because
and
we won the
allies.
state, and
We can
flipping
rally
the
around
state
our home and cleanse it of their
is a
hate.
great
Will be
testament to
dangerous.
our country.
Don't you think it's time we return?
Together.
I have only a few more things to do.
As soon as you're ready, we'll set sail for...
I think there's something you should do first.
A lot of people think it wasn't a mistake. It
You
was
need
much
to
more
find your father.
criminal than that. But it's a big problem in Georgia, and it's not a problem that's going away. I mean,
Who is
it's
he?
not a problem that's going
He's
away.
a difficult man to describe.
And we gotta
He's many things, but the only way to truly know him is to meet him yourself.
But if
So
you
you
find
won't
him,
tell
you
me
gotta
now.
say it, right?
There are details only he can provide. I hope when you
Right,
meet
and
him,
then
you understand. You'll
Go
find
ahead.
what you need on the island of Sierra. I've given your navigator the course. I'll see you in Laconia.
These are investigators from
I'll do that.
investigators.
May Poseidon keep you safe.
Safe journeys.
And that's not what they're seeing.
Mira.
And we'll keep looking. We'll keep looking at all these.
You better check on the ballots, because they are shredding ballots, Ryan. I'm just telling you, Ryan. They're shredding ballots. And you should look at that very carefully. Is that still illegal? You know, you may not even believe it because it's so bad, but they're shredding ballots because they think we're going to eventually get there, because we'll eventually get into vote. You know? So it's, in my opinion, it's never too late. Little double down there. So that's the story. Look, we need only 11,000 votes. We have far more than that as it stands now. We'll have more and more. And do you have provisional ballots at all, Brad? Provisional ballots?
Provisional ballots are allowed by state law.
Sure, but you have them? I mean, are they counted, or did you just hold them back because they, in other words, how many provisional ballots do you have in the state?
We'll get you that number.
Because most of them are made out to the name Trump, because these are people that were scammed when they came in, and we have thousands of people that have testified or that want to testify. When they came in, They were proudly going to vote for November 3rd, and they were told, I'm sorry, you've already been voted for, you've already voted. The women, men, started screaming, no, I proudly voted till November 3rd. They said, I'm sorry, but you already been voted for, and you have a ballot. And these people are beside themselves. So they went out and they filled in a provisional ballot, putting the name Trump on it. And what about that batch of military ballots that came in, and even though I won the military by a lot, it was 100% Trump. Do you know? I mean, 100% Biden. Do you know about that? A large group of ballots came in. I think it was to Fulton County, and they just happened to be 100% for Trump, even though Biden, even though Trump won the military by a lot, you know, a tremendous amount. But these ballots were 100% for Biden, and you know about that? A very substantial number came in, all for Biden. Does anybody know about it?
I know about it.
Well, okay, Lena, wait, I'm not asking you, Lena, honestly. I'm asking Brad. Do you know about the military ballots that we have confirmed now? Do you know about the military ballots that came in that were 100%, I mean, 100% for Biden?
These ruins look old. I wonder who built them and when. What are those towers? Nothing but that tablet. I wonder what it says. So the light beams are the key.
Yeah, that's okay. But I got like 78% in the military. These ballots were all for this. They didn't tell me overseas. Could be overseas too, but I get votes overseas too, Ryan. You know. No, they came in, a large batch came in, and it was, quote, 100% for Biden. And that is criminal. You know, that's criminal. Okay, that's another criminal. That's another of the many criminal events. Many criminal events here. I don't know. Look, Brad, I have to find 12,000 votes, and I have them times a lot, and therefore I won the state. That's before we go to the next step, which is in the process of right now. You know. And I watched you this morning, and you said, well, there was no criminality, but I mean, all of this stuff is very dangerous stuff. When you talk about no criminality, I think it's very dangerous for you to say that. I just don't know why you don't want to have the votes counted as they are. Like even you, when you went and did that check, and I was surprised because, you know, I didn't get the check, and we found a few thousand votes that were against me. I was actually surprised because the way that check was done, all you're doing is, recertifying existing votes. And, you know, you were given votes and you just counted them up. And you still found 3,000 that were bad. That was sort of surprising. That came down 3 or 5, I don't know, a lot. It was still a lot. But you have to go back and check from past years with respect to signatures. And if you check with Fulton County, you'll have hundreds of thousands because they dumped ballots into Fulton County and the other county next to it.
Receiving incoming transmission.
I need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. We have that saved already. Or we can keep it going. But that's not fair to the voters of Georgia because they're going to see what happens. And they're going to see what happens. I mean, I'll take on anybody you want with regard to Ruby Freeman and her lovely daughter. Very lovely young lady, I'm sure. But Ruby Freeman, I will take Freeman. I will take on anybody you want. And the minimum, there were 18,000 ballots, but they used them 3 times. So that's, a lot of votes. And then one event, and they were all divided, by the way. That's the other thing we didn't say. You know, the Ruby Freeman, one thing I forgot to say, which is the most important. You know that every single ballot she did went to Biden. You know that, right? You know that, by the way, Brett? Every single ballot that she did through the machine at early in the morning went to Biden. Did you know that, Ryan? Huh? What is accurate? We are showing, all right. No, about Ruby Freeman, about early in the morning, Ryan, when the woman took when the whole gang took the stuff out of from under the table, right? Do you know who those ballots, do you know who they were made after? Do you know who they were voting for? Did you ever check?
We did what I described to you.
No. Did you ever check the ballots that were scammed by Ruby Freeman, a known political operative balloteer? Did you ever check who those votes were for?
We looked into that situation.
No, they were 100% for Biden. 100%. There wasn't a Trump vote in the whole group. Why don't you want to find this, Ryan? What's wrong with you? I heard your lawyer is very difficult, actually, but I'm sure you're a good lawyer. You have a nice last name. But I'm just curious. Why do you keep fighting this thing? It doesn't make sense. We're way over the 17,779, right? We're way over that number. And just if you took just Ruby Freeman, we're over that number by five or six times. When you multiply it up times 3. And every single ballot went to Biden. And you didn't know that, but now you know it. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers. For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making it with such, he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure, because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot.
You have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court. And the court then has to make a determination.
Something's in the way.
We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, why do you say that, though? I don't know. I mean, we can play this game with the court, but why do you say that? First of all, they don't even assign us a judge. But why wouldn't you, hey, Brad, why wouldn't you want to check out Ruby Freeman, and why wouldn't you want to say, hey, if in fact President Trump is right about that, then he wins the state of Georgia, just that one incident alone, without going through hundreds of thousands of drop ballots.
There. That should work.
You just say you stick
now,
by.
try the door.
I mean, I've been watching you for, you don't care about anything. Your numbers are right. But your numbers aren't right. They're really wrong. And they're really wrong, Brad. And I know this phone call's going nowhere other than ultimately, ultimately I win, okay? Because you guys are so wrong, and you've treated the population of Georgia so badly. Between you and your governor, who was down at 21, he was down 21 points. And like a schmuck, I endorsed him and he got elected. But I will tell you, he's a disaster. And he'll never, I can't imagine, the people are so angry in Georgia, I can't imagine he's ever getting elected again, I'll tell you that much right now. But why wouldn't you want to find the right answer, Brad, instead of keep saying that the numbers are right? Because those numbers are so wrong.
And Mr. Secretary, Mr. President, I mean, one of the things that we have been, Alex, talking on this, we talked about it, and I don't know whether the information's been conveyed to your office, but I think what the President's saying is what we've been trying to do is to say, look, the court is not acting on our petition. They haven't even assigned a judge. But the people of Georgia and the people of America have a right to know the answers. And you have data and records that we don't have access to. And you keep telling us and making public statements that you investigated this and, nothing was